As you all may know, I much rather prefer to operate ham radio outdoors. This is partly due to my love for the outdoors and my desire to see new places and things. Portable operating programs such as Parks on the Air or POTA and Rapid Deployment Amateur Radio, also known as radar, allow me to combine the ham radio hobby with this desire to be outside in different environments. To go along with this, I am on a constant search for new equipment so I may be successful in my outdoor operating activities. I've tried different radios. You may remember my first radio for portable operating was a Yaesu FT817. I've lugged my Yaesu FT450 out into the field, although that was only once. I bought an FT891 for a QRO portable Go kit. However, I've recently installed that radio in my truck. I've tried some Chinese rigs such as the RS918 and Micro SDR. But my current radio that I use most often is an Icom IC705. As you can see, most of the radios I use are QRP. I truly enjoy QRP operating. I like how I can get a full station into a small package. I can usually fit my whole station into a backpack and take off through the woods or take a trip down to the beach. I enjoy the challenge of QRP operating and the whole mentality of doing more with less. I've tried different antennas. My first portable antenna when I got my general license was a Wolf River Coil Silver Bullet 1000. I would attach a 102-inch CB whip to the top, and I had it mounted to an old camera tripod. Eventually, I swapped the 102-inch whip for something easier to handle, like a buddy pole long telescoping whip. Then I got into infed antennas. A local ham in our club turned me on to a seller on eBay, Nelson Antennas, and his 9:1 unun. I've combined this with approximately 35 feet of copper-clad aluminum wire and used it with quite a bit of success. But I've since swapped out this wire with something a little bit more lightweight, the Sodabeams DX wire, an ultralight wire perfect for my method of operating. And even as a club project one Saturday, several members made our own 9:1 ununs. But my last antenna purchased is the Sodabeams Bandhopper 3, a linked dipole for 20, 30, and 40 meters. I've covered my love for QRP and my different antennas because I want to talk about what I think my best antenna is for the majority of my portable use. All of my antennas have their own pros and cons, and I have used them all successfully at times, but definitely not all the time. QRP and poor band conditions can certainly work against you. But the antenna I have had the most success with, and the one that fits my needs the most as of this blog post, is the Sotabeams Bandhopper 3. Sure, when operating QRP, my Chameleon F-Loop, Silver Bullet 1000, and infed antennas have all worked. But when you're operating QRP, low power, a resonant antenna is king, and this is where the Sotabeams Bandhopper 3 linked dipole shines. It is a little bit more difficult to deploy than some of the others, but the performance cannot be beat. As I stated before, the Bandhopper 3 covers 3 bands, 40, 30, and 20 meters. It will also easily cover 15 meters when the antenna is set to 40 meters and an antenna tuner is used. And I've used it on other bands as well with a tuner, but it isn't recommended because you lose the benefit of the resonant antenna. This antenna uses Sodabeam's lightweight antenna wire measuring approximately 28 meters or just under 92 feet. The feed line is RG174 coax with a BNC connector. It includes a current balun, wire winders, and supports 125 watts. The whole antenna, including accessories and bag, weighs in at about 18 ounces. and this fits nicely into a backpack. To change bands, there are alligator clips that you connect or disconnect the different lengths of wire, and is a very simple process. You can find the Bandhopper on Sodabeam's website for around $81. Now, Sodabeams is located in the UK, so there may be some waiting time if you purchase from them. Or, you can also purchase it from the US seller, DX Engineering. It's a little more expensive here at approximately $102, but you can certainly receive it quicker via DX Engineering. Personally, I opted to purchase mine from Sodabeams. Yes, having an antenna that is resonant on 3 bands maximizes your meager 5 or 10 watt signal from your QRP rig. But what are the cons? Well, first let's consider how we support such an antenna. One way is to toss a line up over a tree branch and hoist up your center feed point. This method may keep your pack small, but what if there are not any trees sufficient for this approach? Perhaps you're at the beach, as I find myself at times, and there are no trees at all. You may find yourself having to carry your own way of supporting the antenna. And even if there are trees available, it may be nice to have your own support. For this, I use another Sodabeams product, the compact, lightweight 10-meter travel mast. This runs around $98 on the Sodabeams website, and the mast packs down to about 26 inches and extends 32 feet. Due to the flexibility of the mast when using it with the Bandhopper antennas, Sodabeams recommends attaching the antenna no more than 20 feet up the mast or at the top of section 11 as counted from the base or the outer section. This antenna mast can flex too much, and this kind of flexing can cause it to break. If you are unfortunate enough to have this happen, don't worry. Sodabeams sells replacement parts. Fortunately, I have not had any breakages on my mast as of this date. So, how do I support this mast upright? Well, Sodabeams sells a guying kit that I've used a couple of times, but it does add a level of complexity to deployment. What I found that works well for me is a piece of angle aluminum hammered into the ground. I selected angle aluminum versus angle iron for the savings in weight. However, there is always a trade-off. And since aluminum is softer, I have found that when I hammer it into the ground, there has been some flattening of the material at the top of the piece of metal. Once I have the angle aluminum hammered in the ground, I attach the mast to it using 2 Night Eyes rubberized large gear ties. These also provide a way of attaching the mast or other items to the bottom of my backpack. Of course, this means I have the added weight of not only the mast, but the angle aluminum and a hammer as well. Since I'm wanting to keep the pack weight to a minimum, I've recently skipped carrying these last 2 items and tied the mast directly to a small pine tree using the gear ties. This worked well on my recent POTA activation to Pine Log State Forest. All of that being said, the angle aluminum version of deployment is typical for me. There are several pros and cons to this setup. It is a resonant and efficient on the bands I use the most. It packs down small. It's lightweight and fits easy into a backpack. And it's rated at 125 watts, so it can still be used with 100-watt rigs. The only cons I have for this antenna and this setup has to do with deployment. And how you support this antenna does require a bit of planning. But, as of this post, the Sodabeams Bandhopper 3 tops my list of go-to antennas for the majority of my portable operating. Now, I'm not sponsored by Sodabeams, and I purchased the Bandhopper with my own hard-earned money. I'm just telling my own experience and recommending this because of my success with this antenna. However, if anyone would like to sponsor me, Sodabeams, feel free to reach out to me. Well, anyway, That's all I've got for today. Thanks for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel if you'd like to follow along on the 73 Outdoors journey. And I've got a Patreon page if you'd like to support the channel. Well, I'll see everybody in a future video. Until next time, this is Bob, KK4DIV. Bye-bye.